Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm Deneen Roby. I teach 8th grade social studies at Elm Street Middle School, and this is Patty Davidson, and she teaches 7th grade science also at Elm Street Middle School. And this is our second year studying family and community engagement here in the Teacher Leader Program. And we are very excited to have the opportunity to share with you our research and our progress over the 2 years and our recommendations. So just to kind of go back and review what we know is that the research shows that students with involved families are more successful. It's critical to their success. We also know, being a middle school teacher, that engagement goes down as the students go up in grade level. So we said we need to keep engaging our families as they get into those higher grade levels. So last year, we really wanted to take a look at what we offered for family engagement. We surveyed our parents at Elm Street about our events and about our communication. We used those survey results to guide our work this second year. We also continued our research. We did a book study on Karen Mapp's Powerful Partnerships. We took an online course, Dr. Mapp's Harvard online course on family engagement as well. And as seen here, that research just kind of strengthened what we knew, that strong parent community school ties is it's essential to what leads to school improvement and student success. So what we did first was we really felt like we needed to build our capacity. And so we wanted to have some mini foundational lessons offering some PD to our own Elm Street staff about what we had learned. So at a couple of faculty meetings, Mr. Atwell allowed us to share what we knew about family engagement and connecting with families. And a couple of the things that we shared were those positive phone calls home at the beginning of the year to connect with the parents. And also during open house, we decided to share about you can statements. Instead of just having it be kind of the old school traditional, dissemination of information, discipline, and curriculum, what can the parents do to help in the learning at home? And that's what parents wanted to hear, and so we gave our faculty some ideas of how they could incorporate those in their open house presentations. So next, we really wanted to gain that authentic and genuine relationship with our families at Elm Street. So we developed a partnership with our PTO. We attended their monthly meetings, and we invited them to our Family Connections Committee meetings, and it's really been great. So we're really looking forward to growing that partnership more and more. So our survey last year. We collected data on some of the events that we do, and one of them was our 6th grade orientation. And using the recommendations from our families, they suggested better communication about the event, smaller, consistent guided tours, and could they meet next year's 6th grade teachers when they came to 6th grade orientation? So we spearheaded a couple of the changes. First, we invited the 6th grade teachers. Traditionally, admin and guidance would run that orientation, and so the families loved that they saw the 6th grade teachers there. And our goal is to have a 6th grade teacher for each team so that we could coordinate the groups in orientation this year by team, and we're hoping that that happens. We also, our technology integrator, Sheila Dunbar, she created this day in the life of a 6th grader slideshow. And we presented that at Push-Up Day for the 5th grades coming into 6th grade, and we also did it at night. And we're hoping, our goal is to really focus on the students. So I think we're going to reach that because we just heard from the high school teacher, Jeff Leone, and he is going to assign it as a senior project next year. So we'll have that video for our push-up and orientation night. And finally, we invited a translator last year, and it turned out to be the largest tour group. So our goal, of course, is to have more translators, and we have reached that goal, I believe, because this coming orientation, I think we're going to have 2 translators. So exciting. So we also did a survey on what events do families prefer to come to. And they said an ice cream social, an end of the year picnic, and a bingo night. So we already had the top 2, so we decided last year to have our first annual back to school bingo night. It was the night right before, we went to school on Monday, and then we had it that Monday night before the students came on Tuesday. It was 250 people, 30 staff. It was great. Instead of regular bingo numbers, our literacy teacher, Mike Allen, and fellow teacher leader, he created an academic vocabulary bingo. We had staff moving around the room answering questions. I was kind of the caller and interjected some Elm Street tips during the evening. The PTO played a critical role. They had treats and prizes for everyone. And our Family Connections Committee bought these cool string bags. It was a huge success. A lot of what we did there really worked because the families had a lot of first day jitters, right? The buses, the lockers, getting lost, right? So that kind of just let them take a deep breath about all of that, coming to the school the night before school started. I think what we would like to do is, weather permitting, put some tables out in the courtyards where they can go and have treats there and talk to the teachers and talk about the beginning of school, and then have bingo in the separate location. We also were hoping to have a team representative for each team of teachers so that we can put team numbers on the tables in the cafeteria so families can sit by team and they can see who's going to be on, other students and other family members who are going to be on their team and talk together. And just a couple of bingo logistics that we would change. We might not have so many words. We want to have a couple of displays for the answers, and we also are going to have a translator because we found that it would have been helpful to have a translator last year. So we're doing that because of the change in the school time. We're doing that right after the NPL back to school night that Nashua does. So we're going to coordinate with them. They can go to the back to school night and then they can come over to Elm Street and play bingo. It'll be great. Mark your calendars, August 22nd, 6 to 8. So another event that we reached out about on our survey was open house. Again, families wanted better communication, better parking, Elm Street, that's a hard one. More guides, more time in the schedule to pass, and more family tips in the content area. So we used that feedback in our research to retool our Hope open house this last fall. So we've been doing the traditional open house where the families follow the student schedule every 10 minutes, every class, all night long. We've been doing that for 20 years I've been there. So we completely kind of blew up that schedule. And we did more of a fair format. We asked the staff to park down the street to give more room for the families coming in. We had our student council members as guides so that the families could know where things were. Teams presented in larger meeting areas that we have in the building. We gave the families their entire unified arts schedule, so they were able to see every unified arts teacher that they would see for the whole year instead of just T1's unified arts teacher. We had information tables in the commons area. Mike Allen again helped us with Sign Up Genius, and we did our parent-teacher conference sign-ups electronically so that they wouldn't have to worry about rushing at a team meeting to sign up for parent conferences, because that's really the first thing on the parents' mind. So we did that all electronically to streamline it. It was good. And we had over 20 free raffles, hopefully to pull in those, incentivize the events and pull in people. We collected attendance data last year and this year on our open house, and it shows that in 6th and 7th grade, the numbers are up. 8th grade, it's inconclusive because we didn't have all of the numbers from last year, but we're really excited to take a look at it this coming fall in 2019 to see how those, after we've changed our format, how that affects our numbers. So, reflecting. We received really good feedback about the teen presentations, so we're going to keep that. We're using Sign-Up Gina's streamlined conference signups. It helped for families who weren't able to come to the event, and it helped our main office staff also. We're going to get the schedule out to the parents ahead of time. They actually picked it up at the door when they got there last year. That kind of created a backup. So we're going to get those out ahead of time so that they know what they're doing ahead of time, and they can choose if they don't want to come for the whole 2 hours. If they're unable to, they can pick and choose what is good for them. We'll have several computer labs. We had one computer lab. We'll have several computer labs open for that sign-up Genius for our parent-teacher conferences. We're working hard to get those details kind of nailed down this year so our staff knows ahead of time too what to expect that the schedule's going to be like. And that is not all. So keep listening because Patty's going to tell you about what else we've done and our recommendations for next year. Take that.
So, also, we added another night this year. We had our first annual Health and Wellness Fair on Thursday, March 14th, and we had over 50 local businesses and organizations set up for information. We had over 13 workshops that we offered on important family topics like internet safety and vaping and depression. We showed a documentary about anxiety called Angst. We offered free bike helmets and tune-ups. The gym was open so the kids could practice their spring carnival obstacle course. We had free raffles and free healthy snacks. We thought it was a super huge success for our first one. We counted over 400 students, families, exhibitors, and staff. One of the really unexpected outcomes was really starting to strengthen those community partnerships. For instance, I mentioned that we got those free bike helmets from a grant through CHAD, and now that's evolving into a partnership with a local bike group that's providing free bikes to our students in need. We've started to connect with the Arlington Street Community Center. We were trying to get a book club going. It didn't work for the spring. We didn't get enough signups, but we're going to try again in the fall because we would love to coordinate some programming with them. And we've also been meeting with Big Brothers Big Sisters and talking about the possibility of having Elm Street be a site-based program in the future. And those are just a few of the things that are coming out of this great event. So we thought it was a super huge success for our first year. And we'd like to make some improvements, like we've used technology to kind of streamline the registration process a little bit. We ended up working with the city of Nashua kind of last minute when we found out that they had their own health and safety planned 2 weeks after ours at Elm Street. So luckily they canceled theirs and joined us, which worked out to be super awesome. And we'd like to build on that partnership for next year. We also found out just recently that Fairgrounds had a similar kind of a fair. So we reached out to them and we'd like to kind of collaborate there as well. We did get some feedback from families that were coming right in from work that it would be nice to have a dinner option. So we're going to look at a healthy option for that as well. So we've got that on the calendar already if you want to mark it for next year, Thursday, March 19th, 2020. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be awesome. So from our 2 years of research, we had started thinking about Elm Street, but we realized that it needs to be kind of a bigger change in order to be efficient and effective. And that brought us to the idea of family resource centers. So there are some family resource centers in New Hampshire, but none that are actually part of a school district. So we looked to Massachusetts, and we've ended up visiting 2 different family resource centers. One was Lowell Family Resource Center, and Rebecca Duda there was very kind to show us around and talk to us. They started their family resource center based on centralized enrollment, and their position of family engagement director is only new in the last year and a half or so. But they have some great events. They have a big night in the fall. They call it a Book Nook birthday party. And then in the spring, they have like a summer reading kickoff. They offer workshops at their center about important topics like mental health or CPR or other things. They have a parent group for their whole district. They call it Citywide Family Council. It's less structured than a PTO, and they focus on district issues. Right now, they're currently involved in the process of hiring a new superintendent, but they talk about things like the budget or diversity in hiring and recess. They do things like they offer a light dinner and childcare to try and improve attendance at those. And their website was really cool under the community resource tab. They had tons of stuff there. Then we went to the Lawrence Family Resource Center, which was really awesome. That also started with the idea of centralized enrollment and then just sort of took off from there. They have housed in that same building, their truant officer, their homeless liaison, their social worker, a nurse, all these services. So when the families come in to register their students, they're really able to wrap the services that are available in their community right around that child and that family. All the people that we talked to when we toured mentioned how they were able to really work together so well because of location, that they're all in the same building. They have a great website as well. They call it LPS Clicks. They have in their district, they call them family engagement liaisons that are each assigned to a few schools, and they work on things like coordinating engagement, offering support to families and educators, connecting families to available resources, and then they offer, when needed, mediation between families and the schools. They do a ton with professional development. They call it their Family Engagement Fellowship. It's in the summer, they have an intensive institute, and then they're part of a cohort throughout the year to focus on family engagement. They also have a district-wide committee. They call their committee the Parent Leader Network, and they meet at different schools in the district throughout the year, and they're really intentional about trying to make sure that those groups represent the diversity of their district. They talked to us a lot about authentic family voice. They said, it's not about us without us. So to incorporate that, they did a lot of empathy interviews when they were getting this whole thing started to talk to families about their experiences with school and then what they wanted from school and what they needed from school. So it was really amazing to hear about what they've done so far, and they're constantly tweaking it and revising it. Actually, Haverhill and Methuen are looking at creating their family resource centers based on the Lawrence model as well. So in our first year of research, we had found out about this really cool Scholastic grant with Dr. Mapp in New Hampshire. 6 schools are working with her, but we had missed the deadline, so we were like, oh. But we put our name on the waiting list, and we're hoping to be part of some of the next rounds, but we made a great connection with somebody from the DOE, Mary Lane, who is a part of the Center for Authentic Parent Voice. So after we shared our action research with her, she's invited Deneen and I to be part of this statewide task force on family and community engagement. So for the past month, we've been doing weekly Zoom meetings with them and talking about our research. I think we're actually taking them on a field trip to Lawrence Family Resource Center to share with them, what they have going on there. And then we also had an awesome opportunity to be part of some recent professional development. These last 2 weeks, we were part of 5 2-hour webinars from Scholastic about family engagement and retooling a family event to build family capacity. We just finished yesterday morning, so we're so super excited about what we want to share with our administrators and our committee and our school. And we're really positive about representing Nashua at the state level about family engagement. So to summarize our recommendations, if we go back to Elm Street, so we've already planned our back to school bingo. As Deneen mentioned, it's going to be the Thursday because of that Monday start. So it'll be Thursday, August 22nd, after the night at the library, and we're working on coordinating that. We're retooling our open house based on that recent PD. We're trying to get the information out to the faculty and the parents early so they can kind of pick and choose. We've set up our health and wellness fair, and we're going to work on collaborating with the city of Nashua and maybe even fairgrounds now. And we are going to continue to share what we have learned with staff at Elm Street and the district and anybody who will listen because we're so excited about kind of rethinking that, we have a committee right now, it's our Family Connections Committee, but we'd really like to start thinking about these events as just Elm Street events because family engagement is not something additional, it's an instructional practice that really should be core to everybody's mission. So then for district events, as we said, district recommendations. When we started, we were really focusing just on Elm Street, but we saw how in order to be effective, we maybe need to think a little bit bigger. So our first idea was to add our community resources tab to the district website, and we met with Stacy Hines, and she was so kind to actually use our list of resources from the Health and Wellness Fair, and now that is on the district website with active links, and so that's up and running already. Yay! We'd love to be part of bringing the scholastic professional development to our school and the district if possible, and looking at it through the lens of that cohort model, not like a one and done blitz, but really to support effective and enduring change ongoing. And we would, a great idea would have somebody in the district that is kind of spearheading the family engagement, because what we found through our research is there is really so much great stuff going on in different schools, but just everybody knowing what everybody else is doing. We think it would be awesome for the city of Nashua to have some sort of a family group for the district like Lawrence or Lowell does, and really think about how that group could represent the diversity of our district and do those things that really, help promote attendance, like childcare, translators, or those sorts of things. And the Family Resource Center thing we think is pretty awesome. We know that when Nashua applied for the Race to the Top grant, that was something that they were going for, and unfortunately we didn't get it. But I think that's really something that's worth pursuing in the future, because not only would it really help out to streamline things and free up our guidance counselors and our secretaries, but really to have all those things available to our families that we're doing here, there, and everywhere, but right in one place would be awesome. So we'd love to bring some other people on a field trip to see the Lawrence. Nelson Booton is really awesome, and he said he would guide us with that, so he's an awesome resource. And we'd like to look into the possibility of updating the policy on family engagement, and we plan to talk to Mrs. Fitzpatrick about that in the policy committee, just to change some of the language, from parent to families, and instead of informational procedural to empower and partner, to bring it up to date with what we know is good research. So we're really excited about what we've done so far, and this is really not the end of our project at all. We're really right in it, and we're excited about what we might be able to do in the future for Elm Street, for Nashua, and for the state even. We'd like to thank all these people who have been really supportive of us these last 2 years and a bunch more, and we want to thank all of you for coming and listening, and we hope that you maybe think a little bit differently about family engagement as we go forward.